More cruise lines are coming to the weekend cruise market, and I am here for it. So we've got Celebrity Cruise Line, who's made their announcement recently that they're going to get into the weekend market, as well as MSC seems to be really stepping up their game, adding a lot more sailings to weekend cruises, which I'm excited about. And Royal Caribbean is increasing the capacity of their ships that they can handle for weekend cruises by putting their largest Oasis class ships sailing on weekend cruise route or short cruise routes. Now they're doing this for one main reason. They have learned that people, first-time cruisers in particular, love going on a short cruise to kind of test the waters out, if you will. I'm not sure that that's going to give you the right experience to be able to say that you're going to appreciate and like a 7-night, because they are night and day differences. What you can expect on a weekend cruise versus a 5-night and longer, I'll say, cruise are totally different. And I wanted to go over you with my top hits of how I see these being different. The first way I see this being different is you're going to have a different price point. So price per night for a weekend cruise is going to be higher overall. If you're only going for 3 nights, you're going to pay more per night for those 3 nights. Your overall bill is going to luckily be less because you're only going for 3 nights, but price per night is going to be a little bit higher. So they can be expensive. If you're looking at getting the drink package, by the way, have you heard of a booze cruise? Weekend sailings are booze cruises. The people there love to drink, they are there for a party, and you're there to have a good time, and they are buying that drink package. Drink packages are going to run you $75 to $100 per day on top of all of this. So it is going to make a really fun, high-energy environment, but you're going to want to pick up the drink package. If you're on a 7-night cruise, you might not be able to commit to a full 7 days worth of drinking in order to make up for the value of the drink package. But for a weekend and going to a private island where you can use that drink package, it'll be well worth your money. The third thing you're going to notice when you come on a weekend sailing is you're going to see a lot of groups. There are tons of people that get together and say, let's do a weekend sailing, whether it's a quinceañera, bar mitzvah, you've got birthday parties, family reunions, you've got anniversary parties, you name it, I have seen it on the ship. And the weekends are a great place for them to do it because it's limited vacation time, especially if you're local to Miami. You don't have to take a lot of vacation time. You can just pop over to the port and jump on the ship. So this is also a lower price point, as we talked about. So getting people to commit to a cheaper cruise for only 3 nights is much easier conversation than trying to find a full 7 weeks, a full 7 nights that you can get all of your friends to agree upon. That's like pulling teeth. And the fourth thing you're going to find different is because of all of those groups, all those people that have come to celebrate something, and all of those people also probably buying the drink package, you're going to find that this ship is extremely high energy. So when you come on a 7-night sailing, you will be able to stay up until whatever time in the morning you want to be able to party and enjoy. The nightlife is amazing on a weekend sailing. If you go over to a 7-night, you're going to have kind of a hokey turnout. There won't be a lot of people that are coming out to the nightclub, and if they do, they're probably not staying there long because they want to be able to get off the ship the next day and enjoy a new exotic port that they're going on. But if you are on a weekend sailing, you're going to Nassau, Bahamas, and you're going to the private island or a sea day for the cruise line. For Royal Caribbean, that is perfect day at Coco Cay. And you don't have to wake up first thing to get there. You can kind of take your time and get to the island when you want to start the process all over again. But if you want to hang out at the casino, at the nightclub, by the way, the nightclub will be packed on Freedom of the Seas if you come for a weekend sailing. I would say if you're claustrophobic, do not go because it can be shoulder to shoulder until about 2 in the morning. And the fifth thing you need to realize about these weekend cruises, your options of where you can sail out of and where you're going to go are extremely limited. There's a law called the Jones Act, which requires cruise ships to go to a foreign country before coming back to the U.S. Closest one to do that is going to be the Bahamas on the East Coast and Ensenada, Mexico on the West Coast. Those are the only places you're going to be able to find weekend sailings is in Florida and over in Los Angeles in California. And these ports, they're not the best where you're going to actually see cities. I'm working on making a lot more videos to encourage you to get off the ship in Nassau, but it is a tough sell for a lot of folks to get off the ship in Nassau and explore and see something new. You're not going to be doing, really fun, creative places, lots of options. You're not going to find that on these itineraries. It is going to be more of a relaxing vibe, a chill vibe, than one of exploring and getting into the culture of a new city that you may be going to. The sixth thing is weekend cruises are extremely casual. And what I mean by that is we don't have a formal night. If you go on a 7-night sailing, you're going to have 2 formal nights. 3 nights doesn't have a single one. They decided just to scrap the whole idea because it was causing too many issues to try to get people to actually dress up. So do not come to a weekend sailing expecting to see, gentlemen in suits or tuxedos or evening gowns for the ladies. You're probably not even going to see men in pants. They're going to be coming in shorts oftentimes and flip-flops to the main dining room. That's honestly what I personally wear all the time. So the laid-back atmosphere on a weekend cruise is tremendously different. When I go on a 7-night, I've got to remind myself that number one, I need to take a pair of proper shoes, and I maybe want to just dress up a little bit. On a weekend, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can just do your own thing, and that's going to be okay. Now, if you're sailing out of South Florida for a weekend sailing, our 7th difference here between a 7-night cruise is going to be that a weekend sailing is going to be much more Latin and have a much more Latin experience than what you may be used to on a 7-night sailing. The main reason for that is weekend sailings get a lot of people that are local to that port. People are driving over for just 3 nights. A lot of folks don't want to fly from wherever they may be just for 3 nights. So you don't get a lot of people traveling in from outside the state to go on these shorter cruises. And when you look at the population in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, in South Florida, you're going to find that it is very Latino. And that's going to give you a whole different vibe on this sailing, again, than what you're going to see on a longer 7-night cruise. It's going to be less Latino. The 8th thing that you're really going to experience different here than on a longer cruise is you're going to find a lot more lines and queues. And what I mean by that is you've only got 3 nights there. You've got 4 days to figure this out, and you just don't have enough time to get into the swing and know how everything's working. You're going to have a lot of questions. You're going to be going to guest services more and standing in their queue. You're going to be going over to the Windjammer and taking longer at the buffet because you've never seen the food before. You don't even know what your options are. You're also going to be just randomly walking around the ship trying to figure it out. And I guarantee you that everybody always shows up at the same time. And unfortunately, by the time you figure this out and you've got your routine, it's time to go home. The 9th thing here is cabin selection. It's not really that important. For 3 nights, I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say this. For a weekend sailing, for a 3-night sailing, I can make do with whatever. It's only 3 nights. People will intentionally get lower tier cabins because what's the point? You are only there for 3 nights. Some people will absolutely love their balcony, swear they have to have that outdoor space, and that's absolutely fine. But it's 3 nights. It is not really required. If you're going on a 7-night sailing, you're going to want to think a lot harder about where is your cabin, what floor is it on, what location is it at, do you want a window, do you want a balcony, what is that situation? But on a weekend, it's just 3 nights. The next thing to this that I'll call out, and our 10th thing that we'll talk about, is you don't have to unpack. If you're only there for 3 nights, you can just flip open your suitcase, take out what you need, and you're good. There is no reason why you need to unpack an entire suitcase on Friday just to pack it back up on Sunday evening, 2 days later. You might even be one of those people that travel in just a backpack. You don't need many changes of clothing to come to a weekend cruise. You can literally do it in a backpack if you want to. I know some people are going to come with 5 bags behind them, but it's not required for a weekend cruise. Again, you don't need formal attire. You're going to need something that you can be in common spaces with and something you can get in the pool with. Those are really the only things that you're going to need to think about when you're packing to come on a weekend cruise. The 11th big difference that I find is a lot of people come on cruises for the weekend trying to see if they're going to get bored, how they do with it. They cram so much activity into those 3 days. It's crazy. There is always something going on. You will not get bored. If anything, you're going to be a little exhausted trying to keep up with it. They take almost a 7-night cruise. What you'd be doing with all the activities that they may space out some, they're shoving it all into 3 days, which if you want to do stuff, if you always need an activity, you always want to be having your hands on something, this is going to be great for you. There is literally always something going on during a weekend cruise for you to be able to participate in and enjoy. And the last thing that I'll talk about here, our 12th item, is the drink package worth it? This is the biggest question I get. Clearly, everybody who comes on a weekend cruise, you have to ask yourself, is the drink package worth it? You need to know what your budget is going to be for drinking on the ship and determine if that discounted pre-cruise drink package, deluxe drink package on Royal Caribbean is going to make sense for you. Check out this video here to get the deep dive into what all that means. All right, everybody, this is Brandon, the Weekend Cruiser, hoping you love your first cruise on a weekend sailing, but you know what to expect.